Good afternoon, folks. I just wanted to quickly let you know that the following interview you're going to hear does not reflect the views or values of Swinburne University, but you are about to hear from two of its sassy astronomers. My name is Dr. Rebecca Allen, and joining me is PhD candidate Sarah Webb, who likes to look for things that go boom. This afternoon, we're here because there's been a very interesting event that has occurred. 60 small satellites were recently launched into space as part of Elon Musk's Starlink communications satellite constellation, here to bring the whole world fast and free internet. Now, what was amazing about this launch, in my opinion, is that it represented the 40th successful return of one of their booster rockets. But I guess my question is for somebody whose company is so focused on conserving money and resources and therefore creating this reusable launching rocket, why would you invest in a program that wants to send thousands of communication satellites into orbit around Earth? So here to talk with me a little bit more about this, Sarah, the idea of free internet for everybody across the world sounds like a good idea. But as an astronomer, what dangers could something like this pose?
It sounds like a great idea, but when you start to consider it as a long-term idea, you can imagine he's sending thousands and thousands of rockets up into space, and you're going to have unlimited free internet, that amazing thing, for only a finite amount of time, because these can't stay in orbit forever. And then what do they become? They become space debris. But even before that, they're already kind of debris for us astronomers. So if we're looking up in the night sky with some of our wide field telescopes, these telescopes that cost, upwards of millions to billions of dollars to do groundbreaking research on the very edge of discovery, we're going to have these star trails coming through from these satellites, which completely throws off the way we can calibrate how bright our sources are. It might even block what we're looking at. And even more of a problem is not just in the optical, but in the radio wavelengths. It can interfere in ways that we can't even predict or model at the moment. So it means that we're completely changing what we're seeing as an astronomer and in the astronomical community. It's a whole new realm.
So with this idea of inexpensive internet, Elon might also be introducing a new problem for astronomers. And when we look up at the night sky, maybe not if we're in the city, but if you're out in rural areas, you look up and you see all these bright stars and you think, what's, the problem of having one or two more satellites? But if you look up, there's something called an iridium flare. And this is what happens when the light of our sun reflects off of some of these satellites based on the materials they're made out of. They create a bright flash. Now imagine that multiplied hundreds and then thousands of times, and the brightness that you see, even if it's a transient star trail going across the sky, that streak of light will interrupt your data. Now, it's one thing if we're talking about stars, but what if we're looking for the very first galaxies, which are extremely faint objects and take hours of telescope time?
And these are things you can't see with your eyes.
No.
So I see a lot on Twitter today, people going, these things you won't be able to see at night. Fair enough, you won't be able to see them at night with your naked eye, but with a telescope that can see, 12 billion years back into the very first photons of the universe, they're definitely going to pick these up.
And so I think this brings a greater issue. We talk about legislation and we talk about policies that we have on Earth, and how even in the international community, we might have differing opinions on politics and governance, but we can agree on certain things like war is bad. Now, when it comes to space, it really is a whole new frontier because there is no global governing body telling you what you can and cannot put into space. Hence, Elon Musk can happily launch thousands of satellites with no real repercussions. But the idea is that we're in a realm where not just the United States, but other countries can send technology to space, and that has real consequences for science, but also for light pollution, for space debris, and all kinds of other dangers. Sarah, is there any last points you want to make about this?
I guess my final thoughts are, how are these going to impact other types of research, like hunting for the next big asteroid that could hit Earth? Because I wasn't here, but in Melbourne last week, there was that giant asteroid or meteorite that
I know, I missed that too. Apparently you could see it across like half of Australia.
Which is insane, and we didn't even know that was coming. And granted, that might be part of a debris field that we're going through at the moment, but any other asteroid or meteorite that we don't actually know exists, which is a lot if you actually Google the near-Earth objects.
NASA's NEO website.
Yeah, there's many, and every day hundreds are being added that are being detected. And so if we're looking for these things that, compared to a star or a galaxy, are moving a lot quicker across the sky but still relatively slow to these star trails could completely block out what we're looking for and make them indetectable, or make us miss some, which is a little scary.
Yeah, look, we definitely don't want to miss the next, dino killer or extinction level event in our race to have internet.
It'd be okay. We'd have internet though.
And so I guess the kind of final thought here is that we want to be conscious moving forward of the consequences of what happens. When we do stuff like this and putting all of these constellations up. Once there's thousands of them, it's not like one small part of the skies. The idea is that these things will basically blanket across Earth's sky. And while that will be great for internet connections, it will impact our ability to look out. This has been The Blast Off with Sarah Webb and Rebecca Allen. Thanks for listening.